So we are going to continue with the previous setup. We've installed the Graylog server. We have added a Linux client, which was Kali, and we used syslog to send the logs from our client machine to the Graylog database. So what we will do now is to do the same thing with the Windows machine. This, as far as I know, this should work with all the Windows distributions from at least from XP and Server 2003 and upwards, but I'm not completely sure. It should, especially like on Windows 8 and 7 and 10, this technique will work just fine. So there are quite a lot of different methods we could use from a Windows standpoint to send the logs from our client machine to the server. What we will use is a client called NXLogs. Let's see. What I will do is actually to go start up the Internet Explorer. And I will very simply just try to find the tutorial we're going to be working with. Sure. So we will do, I think it's an xlogs grace, no, an xlog graylog Windows. So let's see. I should have posted this in the, yeah, this one. So this link should be available in the pracs. So there's also a video right there. Let's see. Yeah, there's a video right there. But we're not going to follow that. So this is the configuration file. So the first thing we need to do is to download NXLogs. We can do that from their official download page. And we will just scroll down until we find Windows. So as you can see, you can use this on Android, different Linux distros, and I think there's a version for Mac as well. Let's see. Yeah. This installation here is very simple. Oh. Yeah. And finish. Okay, so now that's installed. So there's a configuration file located under the C, program files, nxlogs.conf and nxlog.conf. So we will just go to that file. I will just paste that in right there. And we will open this one. So under this path, we can open with, and we should be able to open it with Notepad. Yeah, perfect. So I can see that the resolution on this screen can be a bit of an issue. I haven't installed the VMware tools, so it's probably my own fault, but yeah. Let's try this. Yeah, way better. So, okay. So the first thing we need to do is just to take this content, which is this, and go like this, and paste it in at the end. Yeah, that should be correct. So the modules, so the way NXLogs works is that we have a lot of different modules we can use to input data and so forth. So the important module we are using would be MS Vista log. So that's a function or an extension inside NXLogs that is used to communicate with the Windows Event API. That's the module I actually used to interact with the Event Manager. in Windows. And as you can see as a comment right here, if you have Windows 2003 and earlier, we have to use the following module. But my guess is that most of you would be using Windows at least 7 or earlier. So I don't think that's an issue. The host, we need to set the IP address of our server, which was, let's see, it should be available from this host actually. I think it was 192.168.136 and port 9000. Oh, come on. Yeah, that's correct. So what we will do, we will just take this, do 192.168, 48, and then 136. And we will need to log in, so and we will need to duplicate setup right here, but we can just look at the tutorial just to make sure that we're doing everything correctly. So we have now copied in the necessary configuration. So just click on X and save. Oh yeah, we didn't start it as administrator. So what we can do then is to, okay, so what I usually do, I'm sure there's a better way of doing it. But let's see. This is one of the reasons why like Notepad++ is so handy, because it will just ask you to elevate the Notepad session to administrator. But I often just go like start the CMD window as administrator, and then just move over to the correct folder. So let's see. Oh, I lost the path. It's not okay. Oh, we have it right there. So let's just take this path and just CD, paste that in. And now we can do Notepad and then the name of the file. So this now runs as administrator. So I will just copy all of this. I'm not sure if that's correct actually. Yeah, it's actually wrong at the end there. I'll actually just copy it one more time from. Take this. Oh, it's so awful. Okay. Copy this and minimize that, and I will just copy, exit that, and paste that in. And then we'll need to save. Is that correct? Yeah, no, that was correct. It should be at the end. So at the end of the Flex extension tag, there should be this, and yeah, these lines. So we need to change the IP address 192.168.48.136, and pretty much just save that. Yeah, that's good. And if we go back to the tutorial, so let's go like this. Okay, that the image didn't load very well. Okay, but it doesn't really matter. I think I know what we need to do. Okay, this is too slow. I can't. Okay, this is awful. I much rather use my. Let's go like this. Just use my local machine. So I'm now logged in to my Graylog server once more, and we need to create a new input interface. So we created the syslog input. It was like UDP and port 1514, and we're going to use that to like input all the data from our Linux machines. So the first thing we will need to do is to create a new input and then go to, let's see, gelf UDP. I'm not sure how gelf and UDP, and just launch new inputs. And we can click on global instead of, we can manually pick our node, but I'll just pick no global and set a name. So we can do Windows logs. So we can listen to that port. That is fine. Listen at that address and that port. We'll use that as well. And I don't think there's anything more. We can just save and start. So what we need to, the only thing we need to do now should be to just start, go to start and service. And then find the NX log service and start it. So if we go to start, okay, so now if we open, we should see some data coming in. Yeah, you can see it right there. So you can see there's actually data arriving. One thing I forgot to do, but I shouldn't have forgotten it, but I forgot to set the correct host name. So we will do that. I don't think it's too late. So if we simply go to, okay, we go like this, PC, and just right click and egenskaper and settings. So I could technically have this name. Since it's unique, it's at least possible to identify the machine, but I won't change it. So let's do desktop, and let's just add a service like SQL server. This is obviously not a SQL server, but you can, like, in a way, almost imagine this being part of a corporate network or something. So we'll need to do a reboot, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so now after I rebooted the machine and I'm logging back into Graylog, you can see I have a bunch of event logs. As you probably know, like, the Windows event log manager will just spew out a lot of different errors and warnings and notifications. And like, this is a clean installation of Windows 10. It still, like, spews out a lot of stuff. But we can see that the source is the host name of the machine, and we have a lot of different entries. So in the next video, we are going to look a little bit on how we can, like, systematize it and make fancy visuals.